French officials make more arrests as the search continues for accomplices in Friday's terrorist attacks. I'm Jonathan Vigliotti in Paris. I'll have the latest coming up.
The phones are ringing off the hook at a pizza delivery store in Richmond that is donating 100% of their proceeds to a fallen officer's family.
The rain's trying to track on out of here, but as you can see, this is a big system and it's heading our direction. I'll show you when you can expect the most rain coming up.
This is WKYT News at Noon.
Good afternoon from WKYT News. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. French authorities say at least 16 people have been arrested in the extremist crackdown since Friday's terror attacks in Paris.
Secretary of State John Kerry met with French President Francois Hollande today. His visit comes amid an ongoing international manhunt for suspects connected to the violence that killed more than 120 people. Jonathan Vigliotti has the latest in this report now from Paris in our top story at noon.
Police seized a car with Belgian license plates this morning in northern Paris that may be linked to the terror attacks. Several of the terrorists have ties to Belgium, including the suspect who got away, 26-year-old Salah Abdeslam. Overnight, security forces carried out more than 100 raids in France and Belgium. Police seized weapons and arrested more than a dozen suspects. Adil Arabi hopes the police catch the attackers who are still on the run. He was in the Bataclan theater when terrorists struck Friday night. He broke down as he told us he was separated from his girlfriend who was shot in the shoulder. I feel so bad, he said, like a coward for leaving her.
Some Parisians are still on edge and many are angry about what happened here.
A group of French Muslims has started a social media campaign to condemn the attacks.
What they did is terror, and this is not the Islam I'm practicing.
Islamic militants claimed responsibility for the attacks which killed 129 people. France is demanding its European allies support military action against ISIS. Secretary of State John Kerry, who met Tuesday with French President Hollande, says more needs to be done.
We have to step up our efforts to hit them at the core where they're planning these things.
For a second day, French warplanes slammed ISIS targets in Syria. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Paris.
And France's president is expected to put forward legislation this afternoon to extend a state of emergency in that country. That state of emergency would give law enforcement and the military greater search and arrest powers. Meanwhile, more than 20 governors are trying to block Syrian refugees from settling in their states here in this country. Many of those governors are worried that terrorists will get into the United States by posing as refugees. And Kentucky's governor-elect Matt Bevin shares their concerns. In a statement, he said, quote, "My primary responsibility as governor of Kentucky will be to protect the citizens of the Commonwealth. This is why I am opposing the resettlement of Syrian nationals until we can better determine the full extent of any risks to our citizens." Bevin's stance is at direct odds with current Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear, who says Kentucky should do, quote, "the Christian thing" and welcome all refugees who have passed extensive background checks.
We're still working to learn new information about the investigation into the murder of a 7-year-old Western Kentucky girl. Gabriella Doolin's body was found Saturday night behind Allen County Scottsville High School during her brother's football game. WKYT's Mike Byer is at the live desk now with the very latest. Mike?
Investigation continues into the death of 7-year-old Gabriella Doolin. I recently reached out to Kentucky State Police Post 3 in Bowling Green, who's handling the murder investigation. They say there are still no suspects in the case, but they are checking leads and questioning people about the little girl's murder. Gabriella, also known as Gabby, was found dead on Saturday night during a Pee Wee football game at Allen County Scottsville High School. Her mother says she vanished while she was cheering on her 2 brothers who were playing in a football game. An hour later, state police found the 7-year-old's body in a small pond behind the high school. State police say her murder has changed Allen County forever. Sadly, it has also changed the Doolin family forever.
I never thought anything like this would happen to my baby. Never in a million years. I thought she was safe because every time We had been there. She knew I told her where she could go and where she couldn't go.
As you can see, a lot of emotion from her mom there. State police tell us Gabby's elementary school resumed classes today and that grief counselors have been made available at both her school and the high school for anyone who needs to share their pain over the loss of little Gabby. At the live desk, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you. And as we mentioned earlier, investigators aren't naming a suspect at this time, but they tell us they are checking leads and questioning people about Gabby's murder.
Well, the rain has pushed out of the bluegrass, at least for now. It's expected to be mostly cloudy. It'll be breezy the rest of the day as well, but more showers and storms are on the way. It could be rainy around here tomorrow. WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris now in our First Alert Weather Center.
Yeah, that's when the bulk of the rain moves on in, is actually tomorrow. Today, we've just had a few sprinkles here and there, and we're still holding on to that for some zones, not all zones, and even down south actually seeing a few peaks of some sunshine. And the rest of the day will continue to decrease those rain chances. 67, breezy, mild. It looks good, feels good in toward the afternoon and off into the evening hours. But then, like I was talking about, here comes the bulk of the rain tomorrow. I'll show you the time when it's going to arrive on your back doorstep. Coming up.
Okay, we'll see you then in just a bit. Micah, appreciate it. Help is continuing to pour in for the family of a fallen Kentucky police officer. A day after a spaghetti dinner was held for Richmond officer Daniel Ellis, the Papa John's there in Richmond is now holding a fundraiser for the family. And WKYT's Mark Barber is in Madison County with reaction to this ongoing outpouring of support.
Officer Daniel Ellis died 11 days ago protecting this city. The support for his family has not stopped pouring in. Papa John's is now the latest business to hang his badge number in their window to raise money for his family. Chelsea Story is working behind the counter today, but sometimes she's behind the wheel delivering these pizzas. She says she knew Officer Daniel Ellis and his family because she delivered to them a few times. After the 7-year veteran of the Richmond Police Department was shot and killed by a robbery suspect a week and a half ago, everyone here knew they had to do something for his widow and young son. That's why they're giving everything they make today to Ellis's family. It took a week to get corporate to sign off on it, and they had to bring in a lot of extra hands to handle extra customers, but they say they made it happen for their fallen hero.
It's a little difficult. We're going to be working through it all day. All of us are a little upset over it, but being able to do something like this really helps out. We feel like we'll be able to give back to them what he gave for us.
On a good day, they bring in $5,000. On the Super Bowl, they pull in $8,000. Today, their general manager thinks they will see their busiest day ever and bring in $10,000. In Richmond, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. And if you would like to give to the Ellis family, you can find the Papa John's off exit 87 on the Eastern Bypass in Richmond. They'll be closing at 12:30 a.m. tonight. Well, they've already met on the football field, and now UK is hoping to get a victory over Tennessee in a different kind of competition. The 28th annual Big Blue Crush Blood Drive is underway, and it continues through Friday. UK fans can donate blood at Kentucky Blood Center locations in Lexington, Pikeville, and Somerset. Donors will receive a Big Blue Crush t-shirt and a chance to win tickets to the Kentucky-Louisville football game on November 28th. After day one, UK has jumped out to a strong lead. See if we can hold on. This is going to be an interesting day ahead, and it's already been interesting in the basketball world. The basketball Cats got some big recruiting news on the day that they are set to face off against one of the fans' most hated rivals, Duke.
Edris Bam Adebayo, a 5-star center out of North Carolina, officially picked the Cats this morning on ESPN's Mike and Mike show. Our Dave Baker is live now with more. And Dave, I hope I got the name right. Bam.
It's actually Idris, but it's okay. That's why they call him Bam. And you know why they call him Bam? The whole Bam Bam thing. In my 3 decades plus of covering UK sports, I don't think I've seen anyone that loves proving people wrong more than John Calipari. It was the one and dones won't work, and then it wouldn't work at Kentucky. And then on this morning, the Cats take on Duke. Some guy writes that Coach K is out one and doneing Cal. So what does Cal do? He's putting together another unbelievable recruiting class, and he had a chance to get Bam Adebayo, one of the best big men in the country. At one time, he was a lock for NC State, but this morning on Mike and Mike, it was either going to be the Cats or the Wolfpack.
I'd like to announce that I'm taking my talents to the University of Kentucky.
All right.
Very good. There's people in our room clapping. I don't know if you can hear them or not. Taking the talent with a little homage to LeBron James.
Little homage. Adebayo becomes the 4th five-star recruit in Cal's 2016 class. And even with the incredible haul of recruits he's brought to Kentucky, many are saying that this 2016 class could be his best ever. Tonight, all those great recruits lead the Cats into a massive early season showdown against Duke and their great young players. The Cats about a 4.5-point favorite, but Wildcat fans know all too well that Duke has won 7 of the last 8 meetings with Kentucky. The last UK win, the 1998 NCAA tourney in St. Petersburg, when Tubby did not call a timeout. We'll hear from Brian Milam at the United Center in Chicago beginning this afternoon at 4. And Coach Cal on the Cats' early Achilles heel. That's coming up in sports.
All right, we have to say this. According to ESPN, UK has the 2nd-ranked recruiting class for 2016 behind Duke.